Man, do I miss the Ex Argilla Allo. It's Whiskey here, and welcome back to Path of Titans. In this video, I wanted to do a tribute to the Ex Argilla Allo, the Ex Allo, as a lot of people refer to it as. It was just one of the best mods ever made in this game. This and the Saurophaganax were like the two best, most recent modded dinos that have come out. And this one really was amazing. And it's too bad that it's not in the game any longer, and it sounds like Ex Argilla may not be bringing it back. I heard some rumors that they stopped supporting it because I guess Alderaan's dropping too many updates, unannounced updates and stuff, and it's really hard for them to continue making all the changes that they need to do to fix it, because every time Alderaan changes something to the base game, all the mod creators have to go in and fix all their dinos because it affects all their abilities and stuff, and it was just too much for the team to keep this one up. That's what I hear just through the grapevine rumor mill. I don't know how true it is, but I do know the Ex Argilla Allo is no longer in the game, and it's really a shame because I do miss it. Such a good dinosaur to play, even alone or with a group of friends, even better. It was very versatile, had a lot of abilities, and a very versatile kit that you could build it out several different ways. You could make it into like a high damage type build, or you could do a high bleed build, or you could do a hybrid of both. It had a claw that did like piercing damage where it ignored combat weight and armor, and it also had a claw ability that you could switch that out to where it would pick smaller creatures up and you could run around with them, so you could really do a lot of different combinations of abilities to create some very unique builds on the Ex Argilla Allo. There's nothing else really quite like it in the game. I can't think of another dinosaur that's anywhere even close to it any longer. Maybe the Dilo, but it still doesn't have anywhere near the abilities that the Ex Argilla Allo had. You could run a bite and a hatchet bite. You could run a bite and a charged up like battle axe bite that did high damage. It had this lunging slash that you could do where you would lunge forward really quickly and do a claw and a bite at the same time, and it did high damage and high bleed, but you would take like reflect damage in return. However, I never really noticed much damage getting done to myself in return, so I loved that ability a lot. Had two different calls that you could put on at the same time, and you could alternate them. One amplified bleed and the other one increased damage output. And the damage output one, the Western Mobster they called it, that one actually stacked. Stack up to 3 or 4 times and just create a lot more damage. It was very good at taking out larger creatures like Rexes. And this was back when the OG Rex had just got its update. It was super strong and powerful. So it was great to get some friends together and go pick on the Rexes. You could even take out 2 Rexes, and these were mid-tiers, and the OG Rex is a sub-Titan class on the Apex Killer server, so you're punching up 3 weight classes when you're doing this. So it was a very challenging fight, especially if you only had 2 like we do here in this clip against a sub-Titan. It was a very good challenge, but also doable. So it was just so much fun to play this thing. There was like 3 different hides you could put on. One that allowed you to take or get more health when you were low. When you were low on health, you would regenerate your health faster. The other one would help you do more damage when you were low on health, and I think you ran faster and did more damage. And then there was just a one you could switch it out to that just basically gave you more armor. Of course, it had a knockback tail as well, and I think you could change that out to an armored tail, where you would take less damage on your tail. It didn't have the best turn radius, but you didn't really need it because you just did a lot of hit and running, where you're just going past them and using that lunging slash, or getting a hatchet bite on their face and then run away. Sometimes you might take a little damage, but then you could go off and heal while they were bleeding. It did very high bleed, so it was a very good bleeder. On the servers where you're not required to fully sleep in order to switch your abilities, this would be extremely overpowered because you could swap stuff out on the fly to match the scenario that you were in. But a lot of servers will allow you to change your abilities when you fully sleep. So if that doesn't create a failed hunt, like on the Apex Killer server, you've actually got to fully sleep 3 times to fail a hunt, to where it's like a forfeit. You can't attack that creature anymore, so you could actually swap stuff out 2 times in a fight if you needed to. It also had a jump, so you could actually do like a jumping, lunging strike like that right there, and I mean, it was really cool. This is a good fight to illustrate the grab that it had and how you can use that. I was by myself and I got jumped by all these innos here, and this is out in the open. I'm at a big disadvantage, so I had to immediately run to the water, or find a cliff or something where they can't just hit and run me and swarm me. I had to figure out a way to get an advantage, so I wanted to try to get them down by the water and maybe grab one of them and get it in the water where I could limit its movement and finish it off. It was a very slow and delayed animation on that grab, so it was kind of hard to land sometimes, but I tell you, if you can get it, then it can save your life, as you'll see it does for me in this clip. Just take them to the water, and you can bite while you were holding on to the creature. Just bite them like that, and then he finally just falls in the water, and I can finish him off. As you can see, this is the old Grand Plains before they did the change to it. And that was one of our favorite things to do, is just go hunt Rexes on these Ex Allos. Very good at taking out Rexes because of its poor turn radius and really bad bleed healing. So the Ex Allos were just awesome to use to go and bully the Rexes out in the plains. We had 4 in our group here, but one of us had died, so there was really only 3 of us fighting these 2 OG Rexes. So even just 3 could take them on, and it's a challenging fight, but these are capable and equipped to kill them and to win the fight if you have a good setup and good teamwork with a good group of friends. One of the things that I kind of hope for is maybe, they announced that Alderaan announced that the Allo, the OG Allo, is going to be getting an update. So I'm kind of hopeful that maybe they take some of these abilities, or at least get an idea from some of these abilities and give it to the OG Allo, because that would be amazing. Because the OG Allo has always just been a very oversimplified dinosaur with just a bite, a claw, and a tail attack. And you had to actually choose between either a hatchet bite or a regular bite on the OG Allo. When they finally did give it a hatchet bite, for the longest time all it had was a bite. And you'd have a bite that did damage, a claw that did bleed, and then a tail attack, and that was it. So the OG Allo is definitely long overdue for an update, and maybe Alderaan took a page out of the book of this Ex Allo and use some of these abilities, or at least get an idea to give it some abilities that are similar. That would be really cool. That's one hope that I have left here as the Ex Allo is no longer supported and no longer with us. Maybe we'll get a little taste of it back with the OG Allo, hopefully. That charge bite was really good at even just baiting and getting the attention of the enemy. Half the time I would charge that thing up and pretend to go in so that my teammates could just go in there and get hits, because they have to pay attention to you when they see you charging that thing up. Because if they don't, then you can land it and it does a huge chunk of damage. It's funny watching these old videos, because these are months old, and this is obviously back before Grand Plains was changed. And I do kind of miss the old Grand Plains, although I do really like the way they've updated it. And it is nice, and I prefer it the way that it is now, with all the trees and more of a wooded area, wooded look to it. But it was cool to have the old open areas in the old Grand Plains. But I suppose you could still get that in Savannah, even on today's map. And that's usually how the fights end with these Ex Allos, is that your opponent typically bleeds out. In this clip here, we're taking on a big Edmont. These things are a beast in this server. They've got really good knockback, really good damage, and they can kick you, so it's hard to even tail ride them. They have a knockback tail and a knockback kick, and all of those attacks do a lot of damage because this thing is so heavy. So this is always a very challenging fight against a big Ed. Like I said, Ex Argilla is, while they might not be supporting this mod, I've seen some teasers of a Spino they're working on that looks really interesting. So I wonder if that Spino is going to have some of these abilities on it, because it would definitely be a good creature to have a lot of the same kind of stuff with the bleed and the grab especially, and some of the other, armor piercing bites and charge bite. I could definitely see the Spino having a very similar kit to this, so that'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Especially since we've got just recently had the new Spino TLC from Alderaan, so that's going to make this Ex Argilla Spino even that much more interesting to see how it differs and compares and contrasts with the OG Spino. But yeah, I really do miss playing the Ex Argilla Allo, and it's cool watching these old clips because it brings back some fond memories with some of my old friends playing the Ex Argilla Allo, and there's just nothing quite like it in the game anymore. So even though I missed this one, I do look forward to the Spino they're going to be coming out with. Hopefully that has some of these cool abilities, and it'll bring back some of these fun experiences we used to have on the Allo. And as always, guys, I hope to see you out there in Gondua. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.